The Earth is not a globe, and the ground has a flat foundation, but the Earth is only a small part of a much larger system. Are there other worlds like ours? Very likely. Are they floating around in a space vacuum? Highly unlikely. Heliocentrism is Satan clause for adults. If you're going to theorize a model, at least make it functional, believable, and work according to natural law.
Invisible One's entire graphic is just a classic case of pseudoscientific buzzword salad. What we're actually looking at is a standard musical tuning chart that has been stolen and mixed with basic geometric harmonic ratios, specifically resembling the Pythagorean tuning scale. Invisible One is trying to claim the universe is built on a literal musical frequency grid that somehow dictates the physical dimensions of a mythical dome.
Hold the cosmic piano. If you play a C sharp loudly enough, you can physically tune the North Pole!
He simply copy-pasted standard music theory, explaining wave frequencies and mathematical relationships, like 3/2 for a perfect fifth, or 4/3 for a perfect fourth. He's just hoping you confuse the math of acoustic sound waves with the actual physical geometry of actual geography. These diagrams are pulled from a self-published American author named Ken Wheeler, who claims that permanent magnets have a hidden Bloch wall and a dielectric inertial plane. Invisible One copy-pasted this to argue that our world is a static disk floating perfectly in the dead center of a cosmic donut magnet.
We don't need gravity. We live on a magnetic dinner plate inside a giant glowing space donut.
But replacing gravity with magnetism falls apart under the simplest real-world physics. Magnetism is incredibly easy to block. If our weight were dictated by a massive universal magnetic field, stepping into a metal elevator or a wire mesh screen room would completely shield you from the force, causing you to instantly float away into the ceiling. Since we don't float away every time we walk into an office building, the model is dead on arrival. What Invisible One is suffering from here is a massive scale invariance failure. He assumes that because you can trap tiny plasma particles between magnets in a microscopic lab experiment, you can magically upscale that physics to cosmic proportions without the whole system falling apart. Invisible One's own diagrams expose the total failure of this model. The original primer fields experiment relies on two identical, opposing magnetic poles to create a three-dimensional spherical trap. To force this onto a flat Earth, Invisible One is forced to break the system's physics entirely, arbitrarily labeling one identical bowl as the dome and the other as the ground. Furthermore, by placing the sun on the edge of this magnetic choke ring, it would act like a bare light bulb over a flat table. Without a curved, spherical horizon to block it, this local plasma focus would flood the entire disk with light at all times, making a half-illuminated Earth, distinct seasons, or a fuzzy Terminator line physically impossible.
The sun is just a giant light bulb held up by magnetic salad bowls.
Panel 5 is where the math gives way to a total poetic meltdown. Invisible One takes the ancient world turtle myth and unironically overlays it with a mathematical torus, the technical term for a wireframe donut shape. They show a tree and an apple to argue that because these things vaguely look like a torus, toroidal fields must govern all of biology and geology. This is an infinite regression fallacy. If a torus field holds up the ground and a turtle holds up the field, what holds up the bottom turtle? They are just stacking the exact same graphic 5 times over to create an illusion of infinite cosmic layering, using fancy-sounding geometry words to run away from standard measurable gravity. Finally, we look at the crown jewel of their fake validation: textbook calculus. Invisible One copies a standard physics problem, calculating electric flux through a hemisphere using Gauss's law. They want you to look at the integrals and think, wow, there's math, so the dome must be real. But this is complete academic fraud. Gauss's law calculates fields across a hypothetical mathematical boundary. Doing math on a hemisphere doesn't prove a giant glass dome exists over our heads, any more than calculating the volume of a wizard's hat proves magic is real. This is a textbook equivocation fallacy. Invisible One is confusing a mathematical tool, a vector flux line used to map invisible forces, with a literal, physical, optical structure in the sky.
Look, a solid skylit ceiling. A vector flux line is a physical object. I can see the invisible force field.
A magnetic field line is a calculation, not a ceiling. Furthermore, this setup creates impossible optical contradictions. If the sky were dictated by these counter-rotating magnetic fields, or plasma domes, stars would warp, stretch, and change velocities as they moved toward the horizon. Instead, we see perfect, rigid, geometric rotations across the sky, including distinct clockwise star trails in the southern hemisphere that completely break this entire model.
It's cosmic harmonic convergence, fools.
By the way, if you still believe the Apollo images of Earth were faked from a low Earth orbit using a window cutout trick,
here they remove part of the crescent insert. Finally, the iris is opened up and you can see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window.
the physics of this footage completely breaks that theory. First, conspiracy theories claim the sudden flash of light inside the cabin exposes the hoax. In reality, that brightness isn't the near-Earth glowing. It is simply an internal light source or direct sunlight hitting the window. This caused the camera's automatic iris to adjust, overexposing the dark cabin and revealing the astronauts working behind the lens, completely destroying the illusion of secrecy. Secondly, if they were merely masking a window in low Earth orbit, you would see a zoomed-in patch of land or ocean rushing past. Instead, we see entire continents perfectly in deep space.
It's more likely you are the plant and fed. No, these people really are transgender. It's their retard, androgynous, goat-worshipping Baphomet religion, and you're just an NPC, news-watching public school, trained retard that doesn't see it. I studied physiology and was pre-med. I know the specific differences between a man and a woman, all the markers. This guy is dead on. You're not educated on this subject, so maybe you should refrain from commenting on something you do not know or are not familiar with. Just go get your next booster and suck that Jew dick like the rest of your kind.
Tune in soon for more.